Welcome to Debbie's Grow, where we talk about issues that matters to the state, void of politics, fear or favor. The Minister of Education, Haruna Iddrisu, has condemned comments made by the President of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, Reverend Isaac Owusu, who advised male teachers to avoid sexual relationships with students and instead pursue female colleagues. Speaking at the commissioning of the Dr. Leonard Kaleji Center of Excellence for Artificial Intelligence Education at Angloga, Mr. Iddrisu described the remarks as inappropriate and tantamount to sexual harassment. He stressed that such statements have no place in a professional environment and undermine efforts to uphold ethics and protect learning in schools. The minister reaffirmed his ministry's commitment to enforcing discipline and professionalism across the education sector, warning that any teacher found engaging in misconduct will face strict sanctions. So we know that recently they've been, I think the same thing popping up on social media where teachers, we see videos where teachers, should I even say harassment? Because some of the videos we see, it looks as if it's an agreement between two people who have agreed to do something and are standing between them. But we had a lot of people bashing them. That is not the right thing to do. Most of these students are sent into the school to learn. I'm sure if education is not necessary, parents will not yearn for their children to be in school if education is not necessary. And if that place is not a safe place to be, they're not going to allow their walls to be in there. And parents actually trust teachers. That is why they hand over their wall to them. And I feel like you spent from growing up to a stage where you feel like you can be on your own. 50% of your life is spent in school. From crèche, let me say immediately you are born, from crèche to the university, 50% of your life or 60% is spent in school. Every day you are in school. Every day you are in school. When you get back home like 3, 4 p.m., you do your house chores, you woke up the next day, you are still in school. So these teachers play massive roles in the lives of these students. And then imagine you handing your word to a teacher only to find out that the teacher is misbehaving with a child, doing things that is not necessary. And I can tell you on fact that as it stands now, most of the parents are panicking. They are afraid on behalf of their wards with what is going on right now in our schools. And you see, yesterday I came across a statement where an educator was actually advising his male colleagues to get married and stop chasing after students. And married teachers should also put on their rings. And you see, with that one, you know, we have people, even with a ring on your hand, and you still see them getting closer to you. But this is it. You are in a field. And what does that field demand? The field demands you to teach. And I'm not sure you went to school to become a teacher only for you to get on ground and then be following students. No, it degrades your value as a teacher. It tarnishes your image. And even tarnishes the image of the profession as a teacher. A student who is a minor go to school to teach the students and only for you to end up in bed with this student. And you see, the problem is that most of these students are naive. They don't really know what they are doing. And so these teachers take advantage of them. And sometimes I feel like the teachers do not really tell them the truth or something. You need to speak up as a student. I think it's about time the Ministry of Gender start to educate young girls on this, how to be bold and then speak out when you feel like someone is infringing on your rights as a young girl, let me put it that way, or as a student. You feel like you're being harassed by a teacher. You should be bold to speak out. Let your parents know that this is what is going on. This is what the teacher is doing to me. I'm not comfortable. If it would be possible, just transfer the child from that school to a different school. But this issue has become so rampant that we need to pay attention to it. We have a lot of teachers doing it all. It is only these ones that they are not being fortunate enough. Let me put it that way. And so their videos has been exposed. But what of those who are doing it in secret? What of those who are doing it for God knows how many years now, and the number of young girls they've destroyed their lives? How are we going to bring an end to this? How are we going to stop this? Should we bring back corporal punishment? If we are not bringing it back, then what are we going to replace with that? Because the way we Africans are being treated or are being raised and nurtured from home is different from the Western world though. Our blood is different from their blood. We have the African blood in us. And so if you are dealing with us, you don't deal with us with like calmness. It has to do with force. Now, how would you go and tell that person that the person is misbehaving and then with calmness are telling the person to stop? No. It's supposed to be force, which is not supposed to be sober. That is the environment we find ourselves. And so if you are taking away punishment, then what else are we going to replace with that? To ensure that such things do not happen again. And then what punishment are we going to give to these teachers to also serve as a deterrent to other teachers and to the students as well? How are we going to instill discipline in these students? Their way of dressing is one. The teachers, they are human beings. They are human beings. They have feelings. There is no doubt about that. But how are we going to discipline these students as well? But sometimes you see a student going to school and the level of the uniform is not even below the knee. It's above the knee. And she's sending that to class to learn, to study. And as I said, most of these students, they are naive. They don't even know what they're doing. What they know is that let me dress good. And anytime I wear that, I feel so comfortable. So that is what I wear. Not having it in mind that I will share, you are causing havoc to someone's son. So how are we going to instill discipline in this student is also another thing we are supposed to look at. And also to hold these teachers responsible for their act or their behaviors. If not, then we are going to see this. If this should continue, then it means the future of the nation is at stake. If you should go to school for 4 years and only to allow a young girl at the age of 13, 14, 15 to ruin everything, then it means you have a problem as a teacher. It means you have a very big problem as a teacher. Then I think the GES also have a massive role to play here. The supervision is not enough. The monitoring is not enough. Sometimes we don't even go about, how will you even know? That is the problem. And I've seen a lot of people saying that they should insert CCTV cameras in all the schools. I think that will help. So that they can monitor whatever is going on. Then late night classes is becoming too much. And sometimes in a boarding house, you have no other option. Some students do not really find it so comfortable learning at the dorm. They want to learn in the classroom. They want a place where their mind will be at rest. How are we going to protect the girl child? And I think the issue of the girl child preaching about this started way back, not now. And if the people that are supposed to protect the girl child have now become devourers in the life of this girl child, then where are we heading to? We need to do something about it. We need to wake up as a country. Hold these teachers responsible for their act and not allowing them go scot-free. And as I said, bring out those boldness in the girl. If you feel you go to school and then a teacher is threatening you to have an affair with you before he can do something for you, before he can teach or do something, Be bold enough to tell your parents, not your colleague or any other teacher, because you don't know even if that teacher is also interested. Be bold enough to tell your parents. They are the one taking care of you. They sent you into the school. Mind you, the teachers are doing their best, but 90% of the provision comes from your parents. And if today something bad should happen to you, your parents will feel it more than the teacher. So I think the girl child needs to be educated on that. They should know how to voice out when they are going through something, especially when it has to do with abuse and harassment in the school, because it's very, very necessary. We have to stop it because it's not speaking well of us. And it's not speaking well of the profession as a teaching profession. We have genuine teachers who go to school and teach. They don't really have that in mind. And we have teachers who actually go there to do that. And we cannot allow some bad nut destroy the whole soup. So, the earlier we take an action, the better for us. Thank you for making time with me on Debbie's Girl.